This is the best way to optimize your win team meta. Let's talk about it. What's good, YouTube? NoGoodEman coming to you today with an updated win meta guide video. So guys, in this video, I want to showcase you guys the best way to optimize your new win team meta with the addition of Lennart Niermann. What is the best current win team you guys can come up with? What are the best artifacts, the best substats, the best cores? We're going to talk all that and more. But before we do, make sure you leave a like on the video. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Turn on post notifications to miss a live or an upload. And of course, support your boy on that Netmarble website. We're going to have so many codes coming out within the next week. We've got 3 new codes that's going to be projected within the next week, 1 currently active. So go ahead and join over 600 supporters and supporting the Monarchy Gaming to eat on those free codes. But regardless, let's go ahead and get straight into the video. Talking about the win team meta. If you guys are going to build your win team, you are going to need the hunters, or you're going to likely want to have the hunters. Goto, RYUJI, Lennart Niermann, and Hansi May. This is going to be the best win team you can come up with to date. Now, currently, we are having leaks of an idol unit coming out, and she's supposed to be a win fighter, and I'm not sure what her kit entails just yet, but when she comes out, we're gonna play and test her, and if that does changes, we're gonna come up with an updated video. But currently, we do have Lennart Niermann, we have Goto, RYUJI, we have Hansi May. Let's go ahead and start off with Hansi May. Currently, you guys see how I built Hansi May. I'm rocking a Burning Blessing set. This is one of the best sets you can put on her. This is really one of the best sets you can put on any support. Burning Blessing is very timeless in the sense that when she swaps out, uses a support skill or uses an ultimate skill, it's going to increase the user's damage dealt by 20%, restoring the user's HP by 0.1 every 1 second for 25 seconds. And this is applied to the entire team. So everybody is going to get a big boost to their damage if she tags out, if she uses a support skill or an ultimate skill. So very nice, very good for any type of support. Currently, I wish I had more HP for my Hansi May. She's a little bit lacking, and you can see that the artifacts are a little bit lacking for her personally. I haven't been building too many new Burning Blessing pieces, but I am looking to get higher HP for Hansi May. But I wouldn't say that 60k is very detrimental at this point. If you want to look at her things like her stats, she is very overcritted. I know. Don't judge me, but funny enough, she also has a good amount of defensive penetration and damage increase. Look, man, eventually Hansi May might become some type of DPS unit or something with these type of stats. But regardless, guys, as far as the cores for Hansi May, I'm currently rocking a critical hit rate, another critical hit rate, which we might just sub this out. I think I literally just put on one. I think I put on both of these before the video, but I think a better core that Hansi May might be able to use is this one with MP consumption reduction. So this is definitely going to be better. It's going to bring her total power down, but that's okay because 22k crit is honestly insane. I wish there was a core or a stat for cores that gave, let's say, cooldown reduction. Now that could be something within the future, but regardless, Hansi May is pretty easy to build. I'm just throwing on AP's Burning Blessing. As far as the best cores for her, you could go a plethora of ways when it comes to cores for Hansi May. If we're talking about the win specific cores that you guys would want to throw on Hansi May, I do think that you might want to aim for something like Nameless Demon's Deception. Keep in mind, Hansi May is just a support character, so you don't have to put too much thought into it. So that's why a lot of these cores are for other hunters, like the fire unit, like the water unit, so on and so forth. But if you want to have the best win specific cores for Hansi May, then go ahead and throw on Nameless Demons for the top piece. Go ahead and throw on, I would vouch for Nameless Demons for the body piece as well. And then funny enough, I think I'd vouch for Nameless Demons for the spirit passive as well, because when she uses her ultimate, she's going to recover MP. So that's going to be Hansi May. That's going to be the optimal way to build her. And of course, you want to shoot over 60k HP if you are an end game player. If you guys are around level 100 or over that, you definitely want to have at least 60k HP or around 50k HP for your Hansi May. Next, we're talking about the King Goto RYUJI. Now, Goto RYUJI is much more well built, and you guys see it right here with 72k HP. This is currently Goto RYUJI stats. So 50% crit rate, 7600, a good amount of critical hit damage, a good amount of defensive penetration along with damage increase, decent amount of MP. You see we have his weapon maxed out and all. So what artifacts do we have on him? We're rocking 8-piece Burning Greed. Burning Greed is actually going to be very optimal for Goto RYUJI and his entire team, specifically Lennart Niermann, because you want Lennart to crit as much as possible and to do as much damage when he is critting. So how do you do that? You throw in an 8-piece Burning Greed set. I do want to mention that with the Burning Greed set, that does allow me to get the 72k HP. As far as the cores I currently have on Goto RYUJI, again, like I said, I'm really a big fan of just using whatever are the best cores available. Now for Goto RYUJI specifically, because he is a support slash DPS, I might have to lock it in the near future and getting him specific specific cores that help him out. Now, as far as the best cores for Goto RYUJI, this probably will be just the same as Hansime or a little bit near that, because for Goto RYUJI specifically, do keep in mind that his damage does scale off of HP. So you can not throw on, let's say, Ancient Wrath. I don't think that the Hunger of the Crimson Apex would be any type of useful, and then boosting his core attack really doesn't do a little too much. So you're probably going to settle for Nameless Demon's Deception on these mind passive. As far as these body passive, this one you could be a little bit more freely with. Keep in mind that the Desires is all about defense, the Limbs is all about defense, so you're probably either gonna go with the Ancient Wraith or the Nameless Demon's Horn. So I think Nameless Demon's Horn, again, is pretty decent because it's gonna grant him a shield. And then finally, for the Spirit passive, I actually do have a better recommendation. It's gonna be Teeth of the Watcher. This one's going to decrease his MP recovery rate by 10% and the skill MP consumption by 12%. And keep in mind, Goto RYUJI has a lot of hits embedded into his kit, so it's a very good way to not run out of any MP in that sense. Or you could go ahead and throw on, let's say, Nameless Demon's Magispear, giving him a bit MP when he uses his ultimate. Really, you could be more freely picking your Spirit passive. I think there's a decent amount of ones that you could throw on. A third one that I might suggest would be, where is it at? It's right here, Ancient Wraith. So when he uses base attack 3 times, it restores his power gauge. So if you're looking to get Goto RYUJI's, let's say, ultimate skill up a little bit more often, then you can use this one. So in that sense, you could play it a bit more freely. And last but not least, Lennart Niermann, the German that recently came into SLA. This man is rocking 40k defense on my team, maxed out weapon and all. He's currently advancement 5. When I get him advancement 10, if I do get him advancement 10, he's going to be nuclear even more. But currently how I have Lennart built, you see it right here, 33 crit rate. What's going on? Well, currently it's because I'm rocking 2 different variants. So I have different Lennart Niermann variant builds, and you guys are seeing one of my variants on screen right now. He currently has 8-piece Chaotic Infamy. This is going to be optimal for any type of team fight battle, Battlefield of Chaos, Power of Destruction, or Guild Boss. And I use this in the Workshop of Brilliant Light because this allotted me a good amount of total power. And really, 8-piece Chaotic Infamy is going to be good for those battles in the long run because of the skill stacks. Now, if I go ahead and swap this to my more optimal set that I'll use in all other content, this is Iron Will along with 4-piece Obsidian. Let's go ahead and look at Lennart now. Boom, that looks a lot more better, doesn't it? So keep in mind, when it comes to things like the Chaotic Infamy set, what I will say is I get my crit through my cores. And speaking of cores, let's go ahead and talk about the cores. As far as the cores for Lennart Niermann, you're going to want to throw on Nameless Demon's Deception. This is going to be the only perfect core for Lennart because keep in mind, he does have ultimate skill spam. If you guys have him at high advancements, if you're rocking him with Goto RYUJI and you're doing your full win team rotations on QTE substitutions, if you guys do that, Lennart Niermann will literally have his ultimate ready every time he substitutes in the game. And that's insane. So make sure you're taking advantage of this one, specifically the win passive that's going to increase his critical hit damage by 20% for 8 seconds. As far as the body passive, I have some suggestions here. I think that Nameless Demon's Horn is good, but there's some other substitutes that you might want to rock. I think that you want to do Desires of the Crimson Apex if you're doing a team fight mode, because you're not controlling Lennart's, let's say, MP, and if you're not controlling his MP, he might be doing any type of thing, so he's more likely to go below that 50%. So this might be good, increasing his defense by 6% when he does go below that 50. Or final Hail Mary, if you guys are losing a lot of HP with Lennart, then go ahead and throw on the Limbs of the Watcher. This might also be good for team battle as well, because you don't really control your AI in team fight, so he might be getting hit a bunch of times. He might almost be dying, and if he gets below 70%, instant 6% boost for his defense. So that's all good, that's all lovely. And then as far as the Spirit passive, I actually vouch for a few things here. I think that the Spirit passive is a very interesting one. Now, Nameless Demon's Magispear is going to be one of my favorites just because if you guys are doing your full win team rotations on QT substitutions, you essentially reap the benefits of this Spirit passive each and every rotation, right? Because it's about 20 seconds or so between each and every time you do your full Lennart rotation and then substitute him out, substitute to Hansime, Goto RYUJI, whatever the case, and then bring him back. That's about a 20-second interval regardless. So each and every time he subs in, he's using his ultimate, he's getting that 5% MP boost, meaning he is going to be nuclear if you guys throw on what I just suggested, and that's going to be that 4-piece Obsidian with the 4-piece Iron Will. Even if you don't rock Iron Will, you can do 4-piece Chaotic Infamy with 4-piece Obsidian, but if you are going to rock 4-piece Obsidian, make sure you are throwing on Nameless Demon's Magispear. This is going to be super good at making sure that you guys do have good rotations, making sure that your MP does stay high above that 40% rate. If you don't like that, then you can go ahead and throw on the other one we talked about, Teeth of the Watcher, decreasing his MP recovery rate and skill consumption. This might be good in some type of guild boss or any type of team fight because again, you're not controlling the AI, but those are going to be the only two that I recommend for Lennart Niermann. Now, going back to the stats, as you guys see right now, this is what I'm currently looking at when I have that 4-piece Chaotic Infamy with 4-piece Obsidian. If I go back to my Iron Will with 4-piece Iron Will and 4-piece Obsidian, this is my more optimal set, and this are the stat breakdowns here, having a high amount of damage increase. This is honestly my favorite Lennart Niermann variant, and if I do go back to Chaotic Infamy, essentially all I do is swap out the body passive, because the body passive is always a passive that you don't need to pay attention to all too much sometimes. Now, of course, I do probably want to end up going with Limbs of the Watcher or Desires of the Crimson Apex, but if I can clear the endgame content, then I'm all right. So this is usually what I do when Lennart Niermann is rocking 8-piece Chaotic Infamy. I'm going to substitute a body passive core that has maxed out critical hit rate at level 15, and that is going to get him his crit up, and that's going to be very good for Lennart Niermann. So he's going to be all great in that regard, still rocking 40k defense. And then if I switch back, let's say 4-piece Iron Will, or let's go 4-piece Chaotic Infamy, because I was under crit when I had 4-piece Chaotic Infamy. Let's go ahead and showcase 4-piece Chaotic Infamy with 4-piece Obsidian. This one is going to be probably my second favorite variant because again, it's using Chaotic Infamy and then it's utilizing 4-piece Obsidian, and then it has a high amount of damage increase. So rocking 41k attack, that's going to be very nice for Lennart Niermann. And then of course, again, my favorite variant is going to be the Iron Will with the 4-piece Obsidian. This one is going to be one of the more crazier ones. And then with this, I can go ahead and swap back into that other core to get him higher and higher damage increase. So as far as that, guys, those are going to be the best ways to build your team. Now, when it comes to the stats that you want to look for your teams, I always say just look towards the top. So for Lennart Niermann, you want to build his defense, damage increase, and critical hit damage. For Hansi Mei, it's going to be real standard. It's going to be HP, healing given increase, and critical hit rate. Side note, you can only get healing given increase with the main stat of boots, so you don't really need to pay attention to that too much unless you are going to go for a main stat of healing given increase for Hansi Mei. I do think that's going to be good if you guys have trouble dying with your team, but keep in mind Hansi Mei has a immortal effect with her kits, so that's something to pay attention to. And then finally, Goto RYUJI, he's going to be a character that's going to be good with HP, critical hit damage, and critical hit rate, but more importantly on that critical hit damage, because I believe somewhere in his kit, the more critical hit damage he has, the better it is for his team. Now that we've discussed all that, let's talk about some team building, because this is going to be very important, and I'm going to show you exactly why. If you guys have Goto RYUJI at a minimum advancement 4, you need to pay attention to the damage of your third team member. So you want to make sure that your third hunter in your team is the hunter that you want doing the most damage, whether that be Goto RYUJI or Lennart Niermann. So if you are going to build a team, this is going to be the perfect way to do so. If we go into manage presets, we go into the win breakdown. Let's go ahead and edit this preset so we can look at it. It's going to be Goto RYUJI, Hansi Mei, or Lennart Niermann. Now, of course, in previous game modes, it was Amamiya Mirai. So regardless, the hunter you want doing majority of your damage, whether it be your DPS hunter being Amamiya Mirai or Lennart Niermann, make sure they're in that third slot. And of course, I suggest that you use Goto RYUJI to start, especially if you're going against a boss with a break gauge. You break their gauge, sub into Hansi Mei, pop her skill 1, pop her skill 2, sub to Lennart Niermann, and then he should have that ult ready. As far as the shadows are going to be, I'm going to vouch for Egress personally, just because Egress got me through hard mode yoga months on the one of the clears. I ended up taking it like 4 times with an A5 Lennart Niermann. Egress was the shadow that ended up getting me through that wall. Along with Iron, along with Bestie. Of course, you want Iron always because of that defense decrease that you can only get through hunter side battles, and then I switch Bestie for that defensive penetration boost. Of course, there are some substitutions that you can make here. If you guys don't like Egress, you can go with I switch Bestie, and if you go with I switch Bestie, you don't need Egress as a sub shadow, so you can sub in, let's say, Beru, but I more specifically would recommend Serbi because his combustion effect is infinite and that lasts over the entire battle. So there's a few other substitutions. People vouch for tank, let's say, because he's gonna boost team members' defense, and Lennart Niermann does scale off of defense. I personally haven't tried it just yet. Nobody has mentioned Kaizel yet with the ultimate skill spam, so I don't know what people are rocking. Go ahead and let me know what you're rocking. And then we also do have Big Rock, because the Lennart Niermann kit, after you guys use his ultimate, his basic skills are gonna stay on the field for quite some time. So there's a bunch of shadows you could rock, but the safe bet is always going to be Egress. But regardless, guys, what do you currently think of the new win team meta? What is your win team looking like? Go ahead and leave your thoughts, theories, and comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. With that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Y'all take care. Peace.